Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Jonathan Thompson and I'm the Health, Physical Education and Adapted Physical Education Specialist at the State Department of Education, and I have the privilege of talking to you today about the Alabama Champions for Healthy Active Schools initiative. So some of you may ask, your first question might be, well, what is this initiative? And I'm glad you asked because we're going to talk about that today. So the Alabama Champions for Healthy Active Schools initiative is a collaboration of partners working to improve the health of Alabama students and school personnel through quality physical education, nutrition education, staff and community and parental engagement, physical activity during, before, and after school. And as you can see here from the banner below, there were a lot of partners involved because they all have a passion of making sure our students and community live healthy and active lifestyles. And I'll list some of those below. So we have the Alabama State Department of Education, we have ASAFERD, we have the Alabama Department of Public Health, the Governor's Commission on Physical Fitness and Sports, we have the Lakeshore Foundation, Hill United, and NCPAD. So the mission of the Champions Initiative is to have every child engaged in the Alabama Champions Initiative. We want everyone to be engaged in daily quality physical education. We want everyone engaged in nutrition education, physical activity before and after school, and then staff engagement and community engagement. And we want all of those components met through this initiative. So the vision and values of the initiative. First, the vision. We want all students to graduate high school with the knowledge, skills, and values needed to live a healthy, active lifestyle. And some of our values is the importance of physical activity and nutrition as a means to reverse negative health trends for all. We also want quality, inclusive physical education. And we want the role of physical activity and proper nutrition as a means to improve classroom behavior and performance. And we all know how important that is, right? And then we want our staff, family, and community members as healthy, active role models. So now your next question may be is, what is a champion school? Well, a champion school builds a culture of health and wellness using a team-driven approach, engaging parents, staff, and community to support 60 minutes of daily physical activity, nutrition education, and increasing student and staff wellness. Your next question may be, well, what is a school champion? What does that look like? Who can that be? Your question may be, I don't have time to implement this initiative. And as you can see from the list, that it doesn't have to be you. It can be a physical education teacher. It can be a classroom teacher, administrator, a nurse, a parent could even help with this initiative. You can have a student or a child nutrition program director implement this initiative. So really it can be anyone that has a passion for improving the health and wellness of Alabama citizens. And you really want to reach and search out for that person because you want someone to have a passion for this initiative, okay? You don't want to just give this to anyone because we want them to truly care about the health and wellness of everyone. So now we're going to look at some of the components of this initiative. First is going to be a quality physical education program. What does that look like? You're probably already doing that. Okay, as long as you're providing a standards-based curriculum that's following the 2019 Physical Education Course of Study, you're helping to provide a quality physical education program, as long as you're providing clear goals and objectives. And then finally, to make sure you're accommodating and modifying for all students to be sure that they are successful in your physical education program. The next component we're going to look at is nutrition education. So we know that quality physical education programs and physical activity does not meet the needs of the whole child, right? We know that nutrition is a part of it, healthy eating is a part of it as well. So students need to learn the importance of nutrition and healthy eating. And ways to implement nutrition education in your school, here are a few bullet points. First, you could do taste tests for the community. You can provide nutrition information in a monthly newsletter that you send out. You can provide a healthy eating calendar. I know a lot of schools that do that as well. And then you can implement evidence-based nutrition curriculum. The third component that we're going to look at today is physical activity before and after school. And we have a list of some examples, and we'll go into more examples in the next presentation. But for here, we just listed just a few. We have, you could provide safe walking and biking routes to and from school. You could have the gym and fitness center or play area available for staff and students before and after school. And we do want to put a disclaimer out there that if you do that, the kids and students must still be supervised during that time. Create before and after school clubs or programs, and then provide weekend challenges that students could participate in over the weekend. Our next component is going to be physical activity during school. So your question might be, well, how exactly do we provide physical activity to students outside of the physical education classroom? And that's a good question. Here are a couple of examples that we listed here as well. You could provide short 3 to 5 minute activity breaks in between classes or after long periods of seated instruction. Provide recess for elementary or a break for secondary students in addition to physical education to include, and make sure we are including our students with disabilities. Our next component is staff involvement. Now we know, we can talk about this initiative, but we have to have staff involvement, okay, that they have to support this. Encourage staff to participate in Scale Back Alabama. Provide professional development opportunities on the importance of physical activity in the classroom. And then provide opportunities for staff to participate in physical activity and nutrition education as well. And once you provide the staff with the data on how much physical activity decreases negative classroom behavior, I think your staff will definitely support this initiative. Next is family and community involvement. Now, we don't want to just stop at the student. We don't want to stop with the staff members of the school. We also want to get our family and community involved as well. So you can include physical education, nutrition, and physical activity information on school websites for parents to see, on newsletters that parents receive each month. Invite your parents in the community out to special events. For example, bring your parent to PE week, have a family fitness night, provide weekend family challenges so everyone can participate as a family in biking or hiking, and then also host health fairs to reach that nutrition component of this initiative. So now you may ask, and I think it's a very valid question, well, you told me about what the Champion Initiative, what it means, what it's about, the partners that kind of created this initiative. Now your question may be, what's the benefits of implementing this initiative? And we want to make sure we provide you with some benefits. So first, active kids, and this is from Active Living Research, but active kids learn better. And I'm going to give you some statistics because I'm a data person. I want to see the numbers on this initiative. So active kids are 20% more likely to earn an A in math or English. Their standardized test scores increase. And as you can see on this visual, just after 20 minutes of walking, you can see the brain activity in the visual to the right on how much that increases just after 20 minutes. Okay, so here are a few benefits, and if you're like me, I want to know some more. What are some more benefits? So I found this diagram to be very interesting. This is the physical inactivity cycle. And I think a lot of people think that inactivity and obesity that's really in adults, that starts at a later age. But if you look here at the inactivity cycle, and you can see it here on the screen, it starts in early childhood. That's when obesity begins. It does not begin as a teenager or in adolescence. It begins in early childhood. Okay, 30% of children are obese. Okay, and those students miss 2 days higher than average. So they miss 2 days more of school than the average student. They have lower test scores. Okay, and of course health cost increases with obesity. And then also, I found this to be very interesting as well. They are 2 times as likely to be obese as adults. This graphic alone should be why you would want to participate in this initiative. So next, let's talk about some positives, okay? So now let's talk about this next graphic. You'll see healthy students do better in school, and we know that, but let's go through some of the data. They have increased test scores. They have better grades, okay? They have increased school attendance, and of course they have improved classroom behavior, okay? And that is students that are physically active. They get to eat breakfast and have a chance to eat healthy foods. And then those are students that are managing their chronic health conditions like asthma or diabetes. And you can probably think in your school now of how many students that you probably have that have diabetes or asthma issues. And this right here, this graphic proves how important this initiative truly is. Don't worry, there's more, okay? Healthy students are better students, okay? Students who eat breakfast have better attention and memory. Only 38% of all teens eat breakfast every day, and I found that number to be pretty astonishing. I wouldn't have thought it would have been that high. So next is going to talk about physical activity again, and we kind of talked about this stat, but I want to give it to you again. After just 20 minutes of physical activity, the brain activity improves, and you saw that graphic a couple of slides ago. Only 25% of high school students are active for the recommended 60 minutes each day. Okay? So here's our answer. Why are we kind of targeting school? Why is this initiative really targeting schools? And I think the answer is simple. Kids spend an average of 2,000 hours every year in school, which makes it a smart place to encourage kids to eat right and get moving. Okay? So you've seen all the data. You know a little bit about this initiative. So now you may be asking, you may have decided now just off of seeing the data that, hey, I want to be a part of this. How do I do this? So what are my next steps? And I'm going to give you a few. So the first, and this is a continuum, by the way. This is the Champions for Healthy Active Schools continuum. You start with identifying a leader. And as you saw in the earlier slide, that could be anyone that has a passion for the health and wellness of the students, staff, and community that surrounds your school. It doesn't necessarily have to be you. If you're watching this, you may think, I don't have time. That's okay. Find that person that has that passion to do this. So that's where you're going to identify a leader. Then you're going to build your foundation with teamwork. It has to be more than one person, right? So find those other individuals that really want to support this. Like I said, once you introduce this to your staff and community, you're going to have other people. I can guarantee you're going to have other people that want to be a part of this. Okay? Assess your environment. Choose one of those components. So it could be nutrition education. You could already have a quality physical education program, so you may not want to concentrate on that component first, but you may want to say, you know, I could do a little more with nutrition, or I could do a little more with physical activity before and after school. Maybe we can start some type of walking club after school. And that would be where you assess your environment. And once you do that and say, hey, I think we're going to concentrate on nutrition education. That's the component we really want to work on. And that's where you pick your area of focus. Okay, so you just concentrate on nutrition education. Now, of course, we want to touch on all the components, right? We want to try to reach quote-unquote mastery level on all of those components. But when you look at the Champions Initiative, it's not designed to look at all the components and implement all the components at one time, okay? It is meant to be a process. So, if you're like me, I get overwhelmed if you give me a list of things to try instead of me just assessing my environment and picking one from that list to begin with. So I would highly encourage you to pick just one area of focus first, okay? Then after you have that, you already have completed the get ready stages, as we call them. Now it's called get set. Here, what are we going to do? So you develop your plan, okay? You prepare for the implementation, and then you implement your plan. And be sure when you're preparing and developing when you're developing your plan, try to have that team involved with the developmental phase. And then the prepare for implementation and the prepare for implementation phase is really where you're going to look at your plan, and you're going to begin to think of strategies on how you can implement it, okay? Next, we have the go phase. Okay, now the go phase is your implementation process. I'm going to implement my plan, I'm going to evaluate it, and then I want to make sure I sustain my efforts, okay? And we said that this is a continuum because this may change. You may have to go back to your plan, okay? You may have to go back to your plan if you're going to pick another focus area. So for example, you chose nutrition education as a focus area you're going to concentrate on. If you have done some things well to really strengthen that component, you may go back and want to pick one more, and that's fine. But you would use this continuum to do that. And I also want to encourage you too that this is not, the Champions Initiative is not something extra. We all know that teachers and administrators have a lot on them right now, and a lot, and the students as well. You have students that are learning virtually and trying to get used to that format. So this is not something extra. If you look at the different components in the Champions Initiative, a lot of these components you're already doing. So this is just a way to help strengthen that. And finally, if you have any questions and just want to know more about this initiative, if you want a one-on-one discussion about this initiative, please feel free to email us at alabamachampions20@gmail.com, and one of the team members that were listed honestly in the banner, one of our partners, will reach out to you and set up a meeting where we can talk about this initiative further. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And thank you all for taking the initiative and wanting to participate in the Champions Initiative. Thank you.